So today I thought I would just show a little bit of my process on this piece that I'm working on, this small piece with the fall colors. I haven't gotten down to the foreground yet. I'm still working on the background trees. I've already done quite a bit of stitching in here on the background trees, but I do need to go back in and finish it up. But before I do it, I wanted to cut up some of this thread lace that you may have seen me working on the other day on the sewing machine. So I really just want to cut some little bits that I can put in here and there that will show in the background. So these larger ones are going to be for once I get this finalized. I will come out and put more foreground trees, and when I do that I will use the slightly larger shapes for that. So right now all I'm doing really is just snipping up some little bits that I can put here and there that will be eventually stitched on top of. And so it's just a matter of taking this piece that I free motion stitched the other day, and I kind of just cut it apart in small pieces, raggedy edges like clumps of leaves on trees. And if it's a little too solid, I might snip into it just to pull it so that I can pull it. And I will just lay it on my piece. I'm probably going to make this a little bit smaller. I'll lay it on my piece before I finally take it back to the sewing machine to free motion stitch some of these trees. So I want to put just a few, and the good thing for me is I don't have a lot of feeling in my fingers because of my arthritis. So I find if I use these little tweezers, they're very helpful in putting my pieces down. So what I'm going to continue to do is just cut some little bits, put them here and there so that they're going to look like they're in the background once I actually put the larger trees on top and put larger pieces. So for today I'm just getting it ready to take it back to the sewing machine just to stitch down some of these little bits and these little bits, and then I'll be bringing it back here again to add the larger, more foreground pieces. And as I've shown in my pictures, eventually I'll work my way down. There are some red shrubberies in the foreground, and so eventually when this part's finished with the larger trees added in and all stitched and the foliage all stitched, then I will work my way down to these here, and I have some other bits that I'll be stitching, and I'll be adding some other textures. There's some white dried flowers in this area, Pearly Everlasting I think they were called, so I want to add in some bits of white with stitching over on this side. So you'll see as I go along I'm going to build my way to the foreground. So for today I'm just getting it ready for the machine. So I don't know if the angle's a little bit better here or not, but I just took a minute. I ironed some brown fabric with some paper-backed fusible web on the top, on the back. It's ironed on. I can peel this paper off and stick it on and iron it, and then it'll be ready to stitch. So usually what I've been doing for cutting my trees or tree branches is I just am taking the rotary cutter and cutting slivers and peeling the paper off. And if I find that one of the slivers, you'll see how picky this is, isn't quite as small as I would like it to be, or as thin as I would like it to be, I found that it kind of helps to take the fusible off of it, and I just kind of lightly press it there so it's kind of stuck, and then I can more easily follow the line. And I've just taken a little tiny strip off there. And if I want to take a strip off the end, or even if I want to make this a little bit smaller, as it's going to be a branch, then I have a piece here, and I can take that little slivery end off, take the tweezers, and like I said, some of the branches of birch trees often are kind of a brownish color. So now it's just to make up my mind where I want it to go. And I think I want it to be even a little bit thinner. And so I will just kind of work my way around. That one's already got a branch there. So I could put one right there. So the paper's already been peeled off of it, and this type of, I think it's a steam-a-seam. It's a light steam-a-seam, and so once you iron it on to the back of your fabric and then you peel the paper off, it actually is sticky, but it doesn't become actually bonded to the fabric until you take the iron to it all. So that's why I find it quite easy to work with. And so I just will go around and kind of decide where I might like to have another branch, and I think I want that one to be actually a tiny little bit thinner. I've got a thin one here, and but I have to pick the paper off. So you'll see I'm going to work my way around and add a few browns and a few more of the golds, and then I'll be ready to iron it and go to the sewing machine.